Okay. Great answers, everyone. It's obviously by watching videos on YouTube. Mm, so we'll just start. So, uh, hello everyone. So, as you all know, or some of you may be new to this episode, so this our season 2 of the FOSS Files is going on currently, and the name of the season 2 is Database Chronicles. And today is the fourth episode and the final episode of our Database Chronicles, which is called as SQL Injection. And in Database Chronicles, we learned everything about databases, like the SQL databases, NoSQL databases, how they work, and the in-memory databases, how they work, what are the differences between them. And today we are going to learn something about databases, but something abstract from all the topics before. So, this was all about today's episode. And as this is going to be the final episode, we hope you all will enjoy and learn something good and new. So let us start, and let me hand over to Saad for presenting the further part. And let me share my screen. Just help me to tell if my screen is properly visible or not. Okay. Okay, is it visible? So is the screen visible to everyone properly? Please respond as well. Otherwise, you won't understand anything. Okay, so majority of people saying yes, so we consider it is visible. And let us start. So handing over to you, Saad. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, yes, you are audible.
Yeah. So, okay, fine. Just take your time. Hello. So actually, he's having some issue about Discord, so we will have to wait for some time, and then after we will continue. Yes, till then, as Himanshu has asked Tushar and Aradhya, give us a brief overview of this season, what things happened, and all. Any one of you. Tushar and Aradhya, are you both there? Am I audible? Okay. If you both are there, then please respond.
Hello.
Yes, you are audible.
I'm very much sorry. I was eating.
Okay, then you should continue. I think Saad is also here. So if you are in between eating,
Uh,
then please continue.
okay, Sad. Hello.
Hello. हाँ.
Yeah, you are audible now.
So just give me a minute. I will present the screen. Okay.
Actually, I did.
It's not
Hello.
visible to me. I don't know why.
Okay.
यशस्वी तुझं स्टॉप झालं.
ओके. मी स्टॉप केला होता. त्याला दिसत नव्हतं म्हणून.
Okay. Okay, no, it's visible. No, it's visible to all.
मलाच दिसत
दिसतंय
नाही आहे.
की तू
काय
विजिबल
होतंय?
तू प्रेझेंट कर.
Okay. Is it visible now?
It's buffering.
Hello.
It is buffering.
माझ्या एंडाच प्रॉब्लेम आहे. I think so.
जस्ट एकदा परत शेअर करून बघ. जर नाही दिसत असलं तर मी करते.
दिसते का? हॅलो, स्क्रीन विजिबल आहे?
Yes, yes, visible.
ओके.
ओके, मला नाही ॲक्च्युली तू कर प्रेझेंट, मग माझ्या पार्टच मी करते आता.
ठीक आहे, चालेल. ओके. एक्स्ट्रीमली सॉरी गाईज. लेट्स स्टार्ट. So is the screen fully in full screen?
Yes, yes.
So first of all, I welcome you all on this podcast. So today's topic is SQL injection. Right. So first of all, you might all the members who were attending the podcast regularly might have idea about what is SQL and what is NoSQL. Okay. So first, we'll just see the table of contents. So first topic is SQL revisited. Then what is SQL injection, and how SQLi works. Demo, types of SQL injection, and prevention methods. Okay. So yeah, SQL revisited. So first of all, what is SQL? SQL stands for Structured Query Language. Okay. Just a short question for you. So is SQL a programming language? Hello.
Actually, मला visible आहे. काही काही जणांना visible नाही आहे ते.
प्रॉब्लेम काय होते समजत नाही आहे.
अरे तो डिव्हाइसचा कधी कधी इश्यू होतो. काही जणांना असते, काही जणांना.
ज्यांना नाहीये त्यांनी रिकनेक्ट करा, दिसेल तुम्हाला.
एकदा रिकनेक्ट करा और YouTube वर पण स्ट्रीम सुरू आहे, त्यावर पण बघू शकता.
प्रॉब्लेम काय होते ते समजना झालं.
कोई ना, सब कंटिन्यू कर.
ओके. या. Okay. So yeah. So is SQL a programming language? Can anyone say? Tell? Hello. Okay.
They are saying no.
So it's up to you to find the answer. I won't tell. We'll discuss at the end of the podcast. Okay. So yeah. So SQL stands for Structured Query Languages. Okay, language. Sorry. So why it is used? What is the purpose of SQL? SQL language is used for managing relational database, right? So you might have learned what is relational database. So there are two types of relational databases. Okay, relational and non-relational. Under relational databases, the MySQL, Postgres, Oracle, and Microsoft Server, SQL Server, these types of DBMS systems come. And in case of non-SQL, we all are almost familiar with Firebase, MongoDB, right? So those are NoSQL databases. In case of relational databases, the information is stored in table format. As you can see here, there is a table of employee table in which employee IDs are there, first name, last name, and salaries, right? In SQL, there are it includes commands like select to retrieve data, insert to add data, update to modify data, and to delete, remove data. So basically all the code operation we can perform using SQL, right? Okay. So what if I want to view all this data in the table of employees? What statement I will use for viewing all the data in the table? Any guesses? Okay, select star from table name. Okay, yeah. So what is star? What is the significance of star? Why do we use star or asterisk symbol? Everything. Yeah, great. Yeah. So yeah, good to know that you all remember the prerequisites and SQL. Okay, so moving forward, yeah. So Mr. Jetalal is here and he's asking to Baga that give me a list of customers who are from America. Okay. So what if I want to achieve same output using SQL? So this is the table of customers, right? So I am firing a query, select age and country from customers, where country is equal to USA. So just we'll break down the statement, select, which is used to get the data, and the columns, we have specified the columns from which we have to get the data, age and country. We are right. So where is the condition? So is the screen visible?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, select age and country from customers where country is equal to USA, right? So here the output is age and country. Here age and country, these two columns are only being showed because in SQL statement we have specified that we have to focus on both columns only, namely age and country, right? Now we have the data of the customers who are from country USA. Okay, so this is how basic SQL statements look like and work. Yeah. So next slide. So SQL injection. So first of all, we will understand what is injection. What is injection? Can anyone answer? Hello, am I audible? Okay. So guys, please tell me what is injection? Inserting something. Okay. Yeah. Injection basically is used to inject something or insert something, right? So in context of SQL, the meaning of SQL injection is SQL injection is a code injection technique used to attack databases. Okay, we don't attack databases with swords and guns. We use injections, which are known as SQL injection. Okay, so manipulation of SQL query to do the work which it is not supposed to do. What do you mean by this statement? We have some malicious intent, right? So for achieving those types of output, we use SQL injection. It is mostly used for web penetration or website hacking, web application hacking, and all. So there are two popular tools, namely SQL Map and Acunitex, which are used for finding SQL injection of SQL vulnerabilities. Okay, so these two tools are available on Linux. Okay, so and SQL injection has been among top 5 vulnerabilities vulnerabilities in OWASP top 10 list. Okay, so OWASP is a sort of organization which releases top 5 vulnerabilities every year. Okay, from last 5 years, SQL specifically talking about injection. There are multiple types of injection in which SQL also comes. So injection has been from last 5 years in top 5, right? Among the top 10 list, it is in the top 5 vulnerabilities. So you can guess the criticality or how much critical this injection or this type of attack is. Okay, so yeah, I would like to call Yashasvi for continuing the session.
Okay, hello. Okay, will you just stop your screen sharing because it's visible to me. Yeah. Is my screen visible? Everyone, please answer so that I can know. Just if not visible, then just see and try to reconnect, or I'll just reshare once again. Okay, now others. Okay, yeah, there's that option as well on YouTube, or you can simply reconnect, or if still not visible, then you can continue on YouTube as well. I'll just continue the further session. Should I continue?
Nope, nope. Most of them is not
Okay.
visible to me as well. The
Okay,
reshare करो दो.
हाँ करते हैं.
It is now visible for me.
आता बाकीच्यांना विजिबल आहे.
ठीक है.
ओके, कंटिन्यू करूँ.
पेन थांबना. कर कंटिन्यू.
ओके, okay, so till now, as Saad has explained about the basics of SQL and what SQL injection means, so let's understand about SQL injection furthermore in detail, how it exactly works. So there are three entities which you are seeing on the screen. One is the attacker, one is your web API server, and another is your SQL database server. So imagine we are having an attacker. Let us consider Saad. He's being an attacker and he's trying to hack something. So he and there is this web server and SQL database server as well, I mentioned. So consider our web API server is designed in the way that it accepts two inputs, like one is username and other is password, which is the general scenario of most of the websites when you visit on day to day basis. Like they ask you to log in. So they ask for username and password, and you're having your account on any random website, and the attacker Saad, he wants to hack your account, okay, your or anyone else's account. So SQL injection in that case can help to hack that account and to log into your dashboard or home page or feed page or anything. Okay, so what happens is that, okay, here's an attacker. He isn't knowing your password or username anything, right? Saad doesn't know what username you have set, what password you have set, but he still wants to hack. So how you can do that? So there are multiple types in SQL injection as well to know if the website is hackable or not, like if it is vulnerable or not, so that he can hack it, to know if in how many ways the website can be hacked using SQL injection. So currently Saad is not knowing your username nor your password. So what he will do, he will just do hit and trial for some cases, okay. He will put some random data, and he will see how your application is responding to that data, okay. Consider Saad has entered abcd as your username, 1234 as your password. Web server will check those entries in your SQL database server, but if those entries are not found, obviously because they are not uh, like viable entries or not proper entries, so it will return some error or some output on the screen, right? So and by analyzing that response coming from your database, Saad will get to know that how this application exactly is working. Okay, so right now it could be a little difficult to understand, but let us just see through one interesting example which we are having here. So this is one website. We will just go there, and where I can show you all how exactly the whole thing of injection works. Okay.
So Yashasvi, hello.
हाँ बोलना.
Hello.
हाँ.
So there is no prevention from the victim side for this hacking
There are preventions actually.
from the victim side.
The sites websites, yeah, from victim side. Okay, let us consider the website which you are, if you have made the website, then it is up to you how prevention you can, how much prevention you can give to the website or from
No,
such
no, I am a
attacks.
user on a website. Then what? Like a
Okay.
bank or something.
So most of the time I would say user needs to be that much alerted, and like most of the things are not in the hand of user. If the website is built in such way that it is vulnerable, it is going to be vulnerable to such attacks, then even user can't do anything, right? There are only few set of rules or conditions, or you may say there are things like the regex tools which we see, where it says only some format of text can be entered into the username field or password field. So in that case as well, it is up to the uh, person or organization who is owning the website. So I don't think there is much privileges in the victim's hand. I hope that answers your query. Or if you have anything more to say, you're very welcome. Like if you know something extra.
No, no, that's a nice answer.
Okay, yeah, like that's what I know. That much up to I know. So let us see one example of how this SQL injection works. So consider this is a banking website, just now as Aradhya said, and Sad wants to break into this banking website. He wants to see the admin's page, like admin's dashboard of that bank. So how he can do with the SQL injection? So here you will be seeing the log of your entries, If there any error occurs, it will be shown here in this logs section. Okay, so it is directing us to enter this username and password. So let's just enter user@gmail.com, and in between, if you have any query, please ask, and password as password. So I'll just log in, and it is saying unknown email or password. So obviously this random username or password doesn't exist in that database, so it will say that unknown email or password. But let us enter some different set of password, like given here, password and one hyphen.
Yashasvi, please zoom a bit. Please
Okay.
zoom the screen.
Is it properly visible now? Hello? Okay. Okay, and I'll also share the link. Just a minute. That you people can also try. Before that, let's just see how this works. So after password, we have inserted one single inverted comma. Okay, let's log in now. So here, as you can see, an unexpected error occurred, it says. And in the previous case, the error message was different. It was saying that the password and username you are putting is unavailable in the database, and now it is saying that an unexpected error occurred. So how we can like analyze this? We have just inserted one single inverted comma and the format of error has changed. Okay, so what could that mean? So here, as you can see, we have got the error. So in SQL, as this application is based on SQL servers, built on SQL servers, so it will take any input in the form of queries, right? Sad has also explained the part of queries. So in queries, whatever input fields we have given, user@gmail.com and password and single inverted comma, it will go like this: email equals to, in single inverted commas, user@gmail.com, and password equals to password and single inverted comma. And it's giving error because any of our SQL characters, okay, the SQL characters which we consider here, we have entered password and single inverted comma. So single inverted comma is a part of SQL character, which is SQL character, so it treats it differently. So this is what your query looks like behind the scenes. You're selecting star from users table, where your email you're wanting is users at direct gmail.com, and password you're entering is password and single inverted comma. Okay, so consider that Saad is doing this activity, and he sees that when he inserts any SQL character, SQL character, he sees that error is getting changed. This format of error is getting changed. So what does that mean? So it can simply tell us that this particular website is thus vulnerable to the attacks. Okay, because it is able to recognize such SQL characters. And from that you may ask that how can I say that this website is vulnerable to such attacks? So will be seeing that afterwards as well. Okay, so and yeah, let us again enter the password and watch the code window below, how it gets entered here. Okay, so it enters all the words in this manner. So until now, and before I inserted that extra single inverted comma, the format of password was like this. Okay, and uh, once I entered that extra single inverted comma, it begins to treat this part from this single inverted comma to ahead as another parameter. Okay, so because in SQL we are putting the parameters in the single inverted or double inverted commas. So it considers your first parameter ends here, and then second starts from this, if it is visible, and then second start from this second single inverted comma. Okay, so it treats your query differently. Okay, so this application is treating your queries differently as you are putting this different fields. So what does this means? This means that you can easily put any query here using the single inverted commas, and the application will work like that. So it does explains the vulnerability of application, right? Is it understood to everyone? Uh, Hello people, please respond if it is understood or not. Otherwise you won't be understanding further part as well. If you are having any doubt, please ask. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So let's just move ahead. So yeah, this whole work is done by our side. This behavior indicates that the application might be vulnerable to SQL injection. Okay. Yeah. Now another scenario. As we know, inserting the single inverted comma differentiates your parameters, right? So what if I ended ended the password here, and after this single inverted comma I just put a condition which is like this, or 1 equals to 1 and then double hyphen. So what does or statement does? It just gives you true as an output every time you are having any one of the your input queries as true. It like it doesn't check for the output of both of these, or just differentiates two statements, and if any one of the statements output is true, the whole thing will give output as true. Okay, so we will just try this thing as well. The password we will enter single inverted comma or 1 equals to 1. And what does this double hyphen signifies? So double hyphen in MySQL or SQL signifies that comment, like comment everything after this statement. Like whenever you put double dashes, these dashes will indicate that whatever you have written after this double dashes will be get commented. Okay, and now we will log in, and yeah, you can see that how easily we have logged in into the admins page. So isn't that scary? Obviously it is exciting, but it is more scary. We should be freaking out if this happens with us. Okay, so what did happen here? So just pay attention to the code section. Here we entered the password as null. We didn't enter anything, we just gave one single inverted comma, and that one single inverted comma mixed with the first single inverted comma of our parameter and created an empty string. And then the second statement started, which was or 1 is equals to 1, and the condition 1 is equals to 1 will always hold true, right? So regardless of any password you put in here, this condition will always be true, and for that reason you will always get logged in into your admin's account. Okay, so yeah, the hyphen hyphen character symbolizes comments, and yeah, phew, now we know how SQL injection works. Okay, so everyone must have understood, I consider. And then if you all have understood SQL injection, what exactly it is, let us move to the part of types of SQL injection. Before that, anyone has any queries? Okay, not till now. If you have, put it in chat box. Okay. Next part which we are having is types of SQL injection. As I said that hacker can have multiple ways to hack your system using SQL injection to see if your website is vulnerable to SQL injection and to see if like what vulnerabilities specifically are there. Okay, starting off with the first thing, which is in-band SQL injection. So what in-band SQL injection is, it is where the attacker uses the same channel for attack and data retrieval. Okay, so if you are using one device and you're hacking from that device, so you will be getting output then on that device and on that interface. Okay, the same channel through that same channel. And to understand it furthermore, there are two categories of in-band SQL injection, which are error based and union based. So let us understand what these two are. In error base, it forces database errors to obtain the information. So, what does that mean? So, just now we saw on the website that when we put random password and username, it was showing some error. And when we replace that password with the password and single inverted comma, it was showing some different error. So, it kind of tell tell us that how this application is going to work in case of SQL characters, and if it is vulnerable to SQL characters, it is vulnerable to SQL injection. So let us see one of the examples of error based SQL injection. So consider this query uh, which we are having. So it is anyrandom.com, let us say website of anyrandom.com, where you are giving the id parameter as single inverted comma. And if you put something like this, and if you get error something like this, like you have an error in your SQL syntax, what does this mean? This means that that website is recognizing that this single inverted comma is a part of your SQL syntax, and so you can't put it. And if the website can say this, then I can simply put or and 1 equals to 1 and hyphen hyphen here, and that website will recognize that part as well. So it is simple for me, easy for the hacker, not me actually, for the hacker to just hack into that website, right? So this is what error based SQL injection is. Another is union based SQL injection. So what does union based means? Union is actually a keyword, you can say, in SQL. When you code, like write the queries in SQL, you also use union. So it fetches data from other table with the help of union operator. So consider you are writing a query for products table, but you want the information of users. So you want to fetch some data from the users table. So while putting the query for products table, you can also get the users information. And how? Let's see. So this is another example of union based SQL injection. Consider the same random.com and id given as single hyphen and union, and this is the part of second query. Okay, so union just combines two queries, output of two queries, and returns the combined output. Okay, so whatever output we will be getting from this first query and whatever we will be getting from this second query will be combinedly given to us. Okay, and let's see, after this union we have written select username comma password from users and hyphen hyphen. Okay, so what this second query will give, it will give the username and passwords from the table users. Okay, and so no matter what you put in front of this, if it is asking the password or anything, it will be neglected because your application is vulnerable to SQL injections. So this set of query will give you the set of usernames and passwords of all the users from users table. And this first query will be like, if it will return the IDs which are single inverted comma. Okay, but can ID be a single inverted comma? No, right? So what will be output of this first query? It will be null, right? So it will give zero output, no any ID. So it will give null, and this will give some users. So null union some users will return you some users. Okay, so indirectly you will be getting the username and passwords of some users. Same in the second example where I have selected question marks means something, consider something, I have selected something from table 1 union null. So if I simply put this, null is gonna give output as null, but first query will give me something like consider some entries, some number of IDs or the count of IDs from table 1. Okay, so in this way I can get my output. So these were two types of in-band SQL injection, and I hope you have understood. So if anyone having any doubt, please ask, and we will just move ahead this to the second type, and which is blind SQL injection. Blind SQL injection is where no data transferred. Like obviously it is equally dangerous as in-band SQL injections, but what does no data transfer means? Here you don't send or receive the data like what we are doing in in-band. We are just hitting and then trialing, then checking. But in blind, what we are doing is we have two types, boolean based and time based. So in boolean based, it injects false query to observe the application responses. Okay, so whoever the hacker is, he or she injects any false query to see if the application is responding in that way. Like if you will insert any false query, then it will definitely say that your like this data you have entered is not equivalent to what entries we are having in our database. So and then you can just check for another entries. So let us understand this with the help of another example. So this is one example where on the random.com, this time we are looking for id equals to 1, and there is one another function called as substring. So what substring returns is, substring function returns any substring. Okay, it's given in its name as well. It returns the substring from the string which we are providing. It has three parameters. Firstly, the string provided. Secondly, the starting like index of the character, and thirdly the length of the string. Okay, so if I'm having any like name, consider substring is one name, and I want the substring from starting from this position and of length 4, then it will simply give me str and I. So this is how it works. So in substring function, in the first parameter we have passed one query. So what that query is, it is select password from users where username is equivalent to administrator. So the attacker is wanting to know the password of user administrator. So administrator must be one of the powerful users of that particular system, and if attacker gets those privileges, he will be much powerful, right? So by asking this will return the password of this administrator, and then comma 1 signifies the starting index and 1 signifies the character, and we have checked if that is equals to s or not. Okay, so consider some password efgh, and it is the password of administrator. So this query will check will give us the password efgh, and then this substring will give us the first character, and it also has length 1. So efgh password has first character as e, and we are checking if that is equivalent to s or not. So what output it will give? It will obviously give false because e is not equivalent to s. So no result will be printed, and so we will get to know, or the hacker will get to know that s is not the first letter of password, right? And then the attacker can simply check for each and every character, because like how many characters are there in alphabets, right? They're not that much to check. And then afterwards when the attacker inserts e, as in like E for checking, then the result will be obtained and the attacker will get to know that E is the first letter of the password, right? So in this way, the attacker can simply enumerate your whole password or the whole password or of administrator. So this is boolean based. So it tells us like in the form of true or false if we are having our answer, like if we are having our queries to respond correctly or not. If the query is wrong, he or she will just switch to another query, and then he or she will just keep trying on until they get the password. And this was boolean based. Another one in blind SQL injection is time based. So actually right now we are not having any proper example for time based, but what time based SQL injection is, the attacker will simply send a query such that that query is will take some time to process. Okay, so the attacker knows that the query is formed in such a way that it will consume some time, and once after inserting that query onto the website, if it is taking time to respond, if the website is responding with delay, then the attacker will simply get to know that whatever SQL query he or she has inserted, the website is listening to that query, right? So it means that it is vulnerable to the SQL injections. So this was the way this was one of the way the attacker can see like if the website is vulnerable or not, and then simply can proceed with other further injections or types of injections. So I hope these two types must have been clearly understood by you people, and if not, then please ask the doubts. Okay, so does anyone has any doubts? Okay. Okay, right now I'll just simply hand over the session to Saad, and I'll just answer you all's queries in the chats.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay. Is screen visible? Hello. Okay. Just wait a minute. Great. So let's start. Thank you, Yashasvi. So the last and the final type is out of band. Sorry. So it's like the the type when do we use this type? When these initial two types won't work. In band, where the in band and blind SQL injection fails, then out of band comes into actions. Okay. So there is nothing much to explain about out of band. So it's basically protocol based SQL injection. So triggers external network connections often via DNS or HTTP, used when other techniques are not applicable. So most of the cases, if a database has some vulnerability, it will be covered almost in the most of the cases in band or blind. So extreme rare cases are of out of band. So there's nothing much to explain about it. Okay. So we will move forward. Yes. So what are the preventions? So everyone was asking like if database has so much of vulnerabilities, so how we can prevent it or secure it. Okay. So we have mentioned 4 ways. So one of the first one is use parameterized statements, prepared statements. Use placeholders to separate SQL code from user input and preventing injection. Yeah. So is the code visible to all of you? Is the code readable? Yeah, great. So basically this code is of JavaScript. I'll explain the code line by line. Const PRN, we have declared a variable PRN, and I've written the PRN 226200012. Okay, and the next line, the variable students where PRN is equal to question mark. So what I want is select name from the students where the PRN is equal to the given above PRN. Okay, but I haven't concatenated in this string, right? So generally when the injections or SQL injections appear, when we concatenate the data with the SQL statement using plus or any other methods. Okay, so I haven't done the same in this example. What I have done is I have called a query method of connection object in which I have passed the SQL, and the next parameter is of list in which I have passed PRN. So what this list will do, it will look for question marks in the SQL statement, and it will replace the given data respectively with the index. For example, here only one question mark exists, right? So it will replace that question mark with PRN. You might be thinking that how will this approach will secure our database and SQL, all of that, right? Any guesses what difference this adds or makes? Anyone, guys? What do you think this code will make change, would make difference? At the end of the day, we are just using PRN in that. So there are two options. We can directly concatenate or use this type of prepared statements. What difference these prepared statements make? No, input will, at the end of the day, we are firing the query to the server. It will go to the server. The difference is how we prepare the statement or how we define the statement. If we directly add PRN here or directly concatenate the PRN variable, and if the PRN variable consists some SQL injection, it will break the server or break the system, and it will show the error. And if we use what do we say, prepared statement, it will make difference. What difference it will make? It will consider it as a value, not as a string, or not as a, it will not consider that variable as it can be a SQL statement also. It will consider it as a value only. It might be string, it might be what do we say, integer, float, any type of, but it will consider it itself as a value, and it will send it to the server. Okay. Yeah, any doubts so far? Hello, any doubts? Okay, yeah, I will explain the difference. Okay, no problem. We'll start from the beginning. First of all, this code is of JavaScript. Okay. In the first line, we are declaring a constant named as PRN, in which I am writing the PRN, that is 22620012. Okay. So use this PRN is provided by the user. Okay. Generally, for the sake of example, I have hard coded it, but in real world, it won't be hard coded. It will be means means it will be coming from the get request or post request. Okay, in the second line I have defined the SQL statement. What is it? Select name from students where PRN is this. I have written here question mark. Okay, so what is the objective of this statement? I want the name of the student whose PRN is given, PRN is specified. Okay, and I'm not directly adding the PRN in this. I'm not concatenating the string. So I hope that everyone knows about string concatenation, right? So we are not directly attaching or combining this PRN with the SQL statement. What we are doing here, we are firing the query using the connection object, in which I have in the first parameter I have passed the SQL statement, which is this, and in the second I have passed the PRN. Okay, I have passed the PRN in the form of list. I haven't directly passed the PRN. I have passed the PRN in the form of list. So this is how prepared statements works. So the further process, what will be this? That it will replace all the list items with the consecutive question marks in the SQL statement. Okay. So far, any doubts? Have you understood up to this until this? Yeah, great. So what the difference it will make is, when we add or concatenate the string, if the given string, not the SQL statement, the thing we are concatenating with the SQL statement, if it has some type of uh, single quotes, double quotes, or which can break the SQL statement or break the SQL server, or it can generate error. Okay, so if we directly concatenate, errors might get generated. And if we use prepared statement, what it will do is it will consider it as a value only. It won't consider the given input as it might be SQL or no, it will consider it as a string only. For example, the PRN is a string. Okay, it is single quoted and it also has a single quote in the middle of it. And if I directly concatenate the string with the SQL statement, it will obviously break because the quote is extra. And if I directly write using prepare statement, it won't generate error because the whole value will be considered as a whole string. Okay. Yeah, so Yash Patil is asking, so it will treat it as a data, not SQL statement formats. Obviously, great. Yeah, this is the objective of prepared statement. It will consider it as a data only, right? Understood, everyone? Okay, nice. So, yeah, next prevention. Yashasvi will explain.
Yes. Audible?
Yeah.
Okay. To whomever the screen is not visible, I'll just show you people the code. Okay. So the second type of prevention is input validation and sanitization. Okay, so I also seen people talking about sanitization in chats as well, so they must be aware of this thing. So it is to validate and sanitize user inputs to ensure they match expected formats and are safe to use in the SQL queries. So to understand it, let us see the code example which we are having here. We are taking input of the user ID with the first statement. In the second statement, we are checking if the inputted user ID is digit or not, like is it numeric or not. If it contains some symbols or some alphabets, so it will not be numeric, it will not be in numeric format, right? So in that case we will handle the invalid input because that input is invalid for your system because you have specified that user ID must be in digits. Okay, and else, in the else section, if your inserted user ID is fully digits containing all the digits. It's not invading any of your formats. Then you will just simply check for that user id and then execute the query, which is select username from the table users, where id is question mark, and then afterward we have written user id, so question mark will be replaced by your user id. So if your input is valid, it will just return the it will just execute the query and check for this input in your database. But if your user input is not valid, it will simply throw an error, or you can handle it in your way, like however you want. So everyone understood this? Okay, any response? Okay. Okay, so considering you people understood, let us move ahead, which is the third prevention. And yeah, so the third prevention is least privilege principle. It tells us that there should be limit to database user permissions to minimize the necessary to the minimum necessary for application functionality to reduce the attack surface. So as Aradhya has also asked in the first part, so we also mentioned about the regex rule there, so it was meant in the second prevention which we saw. And in this third prevention, there should be some privileges and some limits set to how you are inserting the data, in what format you can insert, or how you can manipulate the data. Like if the person can easily manipulate the data, the website can easily be hacked. So but if you put some limits and the privileges, if there are very less privileges, then in that case the prevention can be maintained. So this was the third one, and for the fourth one Saad will be explaining you.
So the fourth and the last type is web application firewall, WAF. So is everyone familiar with the term firewall? Just type yes, no in the chats. Yeah. So what is firewall? A wall with fire? No. Okay. Fire with wall. Okay. So firewall is like a security application. Yeah. Great work, Aradhya. Firewall. Okay, this is how firewall looks like. So firewall, which is used in prevention of SQL injection, is deploy a web application firewall to filter and block malicious SQL injection attempts before they reach your application. Okay, so before the harm comes, we block the harmful data, harmful traffic using uh, firewall. Every means almost everyone is familiar with the Windows firewall, right? Yeah, it annoys a lot while installing crack application or crack games. Everyone might have experienced, right? So in case of web application, we have firewall which is specialized for protecting web application, which is known as web application firewall, as the name suggests. Okay. So it is also well equipped to handle the malicious SQL injections. It blocks before they reach the server. So what it does before processing the SQL statement, it scans it. Is there any malicious code or malicious things or malicious characters in it which will harm the SQL server? Okay, so this is how it blocks the traffic, and that's it about the prevention. First was about the prepared statements. Okay, second was about input validation sanitization. It's basically like the data which we are expecting. Okay, we will only take that type of data. If we are expecting phone number, we won't allow characters or alphabets in it. We will only allow numbers for it. This is what validation and sanitization is. And privilege principle is we have to give the access privilege at minimum. We won't make all the users of the database or managers with, we can assign all admin privileges. We will assign the privileges as with respect to their work. Okay, we have to maintain the privileges, and the last is about the firewall. Okay. Yeah, so moving forward, we'll also see a demo which we have here. Okay. Yeah, so this is banking system. We are going to break into this. Okay, WC money heist. So let's start. So can you guys tell me what I should enter here in case of username? Anyone, please? Lemon, WLGOP. Okay, let's write Datta here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Login. No, we are sorry, but this username or password was not found in our system. Okay. So what do you think is the most common username the system have or the system has? User, admin, root. Okay, yeah, admin is the most popular username the services the online applications have. Yeah, IT in case of IT department. Yeah, so I will write here admin. Okay. In case of password, I will write just PASSWORD password. Fail. We will do one thing, as we have learned previously, that if we write single quote at the end of the string, it might show us an error. Okay, let's try. I will add a single quote, and password I will write just password. Okay, login. Yeah, voila. As you can see here, it has given a syntax error encountered in password at line 1, column 66, 67. We don't have access to the code of this backend. Okay, but we can see here we have successfully generated an error, which means that this server is prone to SQL injections. Okay, we will try the other combinations. Okay, so we have learned previously about the OR statement. Okay, we will try to use it here. Admin single quote or 1 is equal to 1 and password as it is. Okay, login. No, it also shows that there is some error. So what do you think is wrong with the previous statement or previous username we typed? I will type in the messages. Yeah, this was the input I gave here, and it shows us it is also showing the error. We are not successfully bypassed the system. What do you think we should use? Okay, two hyphens. Why two hyphens? Okay, for comment, right? We'll write admin, yeah, or 1 is equal to 1, two hyphens, and password we can type any garbage data. Login. Great. Yeah, I have successfully hacked into the bank, and yeah, hacker. Yeah. So jokes apart, In real world applications, SQL injections are not this simple. They are very complex. Okay. But this is how the foundation of SQL injection is. Some systems might also be prone to this type of basic SQL injections also. We just have to try. We can also try on our Sophos or what do we say, model. You can try it out, but don't use your PRNs. You might get caught, and we won't be responsible for that. How many of you know that the model is on SQL? Yeah, great. Yeah, it uses PHP. Yeah. You can try out if there is any SQL injection, and if anyone asks, you can tell the name because he told that he knows. I didn't knew. I was just checking. Okay. Yeah. Hudatta. Thank you all of you. You have been a great audience, and that's all. You can start the discussions if you want. Okay, Yash is asking if there are prevention methods and they are known, and why this kind of attack still working? Why not all websites secure themselves with these methods? Great question. I would like to call Tushar or Aradhya if they are available to answer this. Would be great. Tushar, Aradhya. Hello. Are they available? Yeah.
So any doubt, guys? अच्छा डाउट्स तो हैं बहुत सारे दिख रहा
Yash is asking a question. He has a valid point.
So
Actually,
if
what
there are
I
prevention methods,
yeah
yes,
first
yes, what?
what yeah firstly what I think from my side, for Yash, to answer the question, that you're very correct that there are these prevention methods, but as we can see that the OSAP index, which Sad also showed, that injection is one of the popular attacks, but from recent past year, like till 2017, it was on the top. Like from the series of years, it was always on the top, but in 2022 it has like degraded in its position. So we can say that websites are adapting to this prevention methods, so it is being less vulnerable. So this was what I had, if this answers your question. And the second question, can you please explain what you mean by non-standard names? Okay. Uh, yes, you may be correct, but why would attacker want to attack to any other account other than admin and or like administrator or admin or user, if these are the most common ones, right? if there are abstract names, so it will be more difficult to get to those abstract names, right? And it will definitely be difficult for attacker to guess. That's the reason not every website is getting hacked, right? Only few websites get hacked, and that's because most of them uses these standard names like administrators and users, which you are saying. Any other input from you guys? Saad, Tushar, and Arathi. Okay, thank you. Any other questions?
Yes, we can also try it on Moodle under the flag of Jyoth. Jyoth will lead our team. Okay. चलिए PR है. Yeah. Any doubts? Guys?
This is
So you might be thinking that this whole presentation or this whole season was based on databases, right? So why did we cover SQL injections in this season? What do you think about that? Was there any specific need, or just we were short of topics, so we chose this? What do you think? Okay. Also, if the passwords are encrypted, and will the attacker get decrypted text using methods we use now? So first of all, you are right that passwords are stored encrypted. Okay. So as far as I know, the passwords stored in the databases are not symmetric. What I mean by symmetric is we can't, if we encrypt it, we can't decrypt it. Okay. It will just give us a random value, which is popularly known as hashing. In most of the cases, passwords are stored in the form of hash. For example, if I write a password 123, it will get hashed and a hash value will be generated, and that hash value will be stored in the database. We can't retrieve password 123 from the same hash value. Okay, so how do we log in? When I write my username and enter password 123, it will check my username, and if the username is found, it will calculate the hash of the given password, and it will compare with the hash stored in the database. If those two hashes match, then the user will get logged in. Right. Jyoth has written the basic idea of this type. Now these plugins are done. Yeah.
Yes, and also about the attacks which we saw, like the SQL injection, if we can do it by using SQL injection, you are asking, right? So I think when we used the query format, the admin or one equals to one and then hyphen hyphen, then it just commented the whole part of password, right? The part of query which contained password field. So it simply commented that part. So the query didn't process that part. So we can say in that way it can work. That answers your doubt. Yeah. Oh, so I think Saad just hacked the permission. for us to hack into the Moodle, right? Yeah, special privileges. He must have hacked those as well. Root privileges. Yes.
Yeah. Any doubts? Okay, so we can conclude today's episode. We hope so that Naran Marathi is not in Sudo's list. This incident will be reported. Actually, he is in the
That
list of
exactly.
developers, Himanshu.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, all of you, for your patience,
Yes. Thank you, all of you.
allowing us to give something to share our knowledge. That's it. Right?
Yes, and as this was the end of episode, and with the end of episode, this is end of season as well, our season database chronicles. And hope you've gained much knowledge about databases from this whole series of episodes. And we look forward to see you all in our all the upcoming seasons as well. We will be informing you likewise, and hope you will be asking your doubts, and you will be bringing more and more doubts in upcoming sessions as well. Okay. Fine. So this is the end of session season. If anyone wants to live, they can simply live. Bye.